General versus the Polaris 1000, both petrol versions, so no diesels in this one, because this is a comparison on both vehicles and what I was trying to choose before I bought both, because the Polaris Ranger only came in a diesel when I chose to buy the General. So just want to do a comparison today on both to help you guys, if you're trying to decide between both these two units, which one's better for you and which one you'd much rather. So with the General, I've done a fair few modifications to the General. So I've put on bigger tyres, I've put a lift kit, I've put on bar work, I've put on a light bar, front windscreen, rear windscreen. All these things don't come standard on the General, so I'd just like to put that out there first. So the Ranger 1000 is completely stock, so that's how it came, except we opted for the doors. We opted for the front glass and the rear glass, but due to the dust that comes up in the cab, we've actually taken the front window off just until winter comes and it gets a bit colder and there's not so much dust. But during summertime, if you're driving around with the front and the rear window on, you get a lot of vortex dust coming up from the floor, just because the wind's coming in around the front window into the back, hitting that back panel there and spinning around, and you do get dust. It's not too bad, but you do get dust and stuff in your face. So, but if you take the front windscreen off during your hotter climates or your hotter seasons, it's generally not too bad. It's pretty good. So, but in saying that, the General doesn't do that. I have windscreens on the front and on the rear, and I don't get that vortex in the cab like you do with the Ranger. I think it must be just the overall size of the Ranger. You've got more air and more volume of air picking that stuff, the dust and the fine particles of dirt off the floor, and circulating them around inside the cab. But with the General, I don't have that issue with the General. I don't know what it is. Maybe because the cab is way more confined. It could be the shape of it, because it is shaped a lot different to the Ranger. So guys, both these units, the General and the Ranger, they're both 1000cc. So they both got the petrol engine. When I bought the General, I couldn't buy the Ranger. I could only get it in diesel. So I didn't want a diesel unit. They wasn't fast enough, and I needed to get the bug out of my system to have a General and to want to run amok, jumps, race around tracks, fast through the trails and things like that. I needed to get that out of my system, so that's why I went with a General. But in saying that, before I bought the General, I actually bought a Can-Am X3. So the thing cost me, it was the gold and orange one, it cost me close to like $42,000 Australian. It was not cheap at all, and I really didn't think about it when I bought it. It was one of those Saturday morning compulsive buys of like, that thing's sick, I want it. And I just put my money down and I bought one. I brought it home. I did have some issues with the dealership. It had a puncture and stuff from getting it out of the crate. So I had a few dramas with that unit when I first received it. And that was all on the dealer's part. That was nothing to do with Can-Am. That was the dealer that I dealt with in Newcastle. I will never ever deal with that business ever again. So anyway, aside from that, I did buy the Can-Am X3, and it was just crazy. It was too wide. It was fast and fun, but it's one of those things that if your buddies all don't have one, and you don't have the room to ride it. Like, I've got the room. We've got over 3,000 acres here, but it was just, I got bored of it quick. Like, I sold it with 3 hours on it. I had it for 2 weeks. So it was kind of one of those things, you couldn't really hunt or anything out of it. I didn't really think it through. So I ended up just selling it to a local guy that I knew that raced them. He bought it for a spare unit, so he's got a lot of money and he races the things full time. So he said, I'll take it. I lost $6,000 on the unit, so that's just my bad luck. I didn't think about it. I didn't think it through, and that's just why I want to do this video for you guys, so that way you get a better understanding of my experiences now owning both of these units. In our family, we have both, so just give you guys a rundown before you run out with your hard-earned money, because money's hard to come by, and you've got to work pretty hard to buy one of these things. So the more input I can give you guys onto my experiences with both and what you're after, I think is great for everyone. So the reason why I bought the Can-Am is because I am a rev head. That's why I did buy the Can-Am X3. But in saying that, why I sold that and then I chose the General is because it was generally something that I could use for nearly every day. I could throw things in the back, I could throw some firewood in the back, I could still hunt out of it. It had a nice upright seating position. It was still skinny to sit in trails and stuff. I could still run amok on it and jump the tracks and basically abuse it, and I knew I wasn't going to break it because it has a QS3 shocks. So I knew it was a good fit for what I wanted to do, and I kind of needed to get that adrenaline out of my system with the unit. And now after owning one, it's been great. It's been fantastic. I've had the thing for about 2 years now, and to be honest, I can't fault it. I have had zero issues, nothing, no issues with it at all. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I couldn't praise Polaris more for building such a good vehicle. With the Ranger 1000, my parents bought that. That's their unit, and they were very much used to the Kubota all 4x4 units. Very slow, very farm style of unit. All steel, no plastic, and all that sort of stuff. So very rugged machines. So when I showed them the Ranger, they were a bit hesitant about it. They didn't really know if that's what they wanted to go for, but now after owning one, they absolutely love it. And because it's not the diesel unit, it's the petrol unit, it's way quicker. They can get around the property way faster, where the diesels was very slow. They would top out at like 40 kilometers an hour. They're not very fast units at all. But now with that, they absolutely love it. So I really like the Ranger just for its versatility, its square styling, the massive bed you have on the back to put all your stuff in, fit a nice gun rack underneath the roof there, and just the nice upright seating position, and they're super quiet. So way more quiet than what the General is. The General is so loud that it's stupid to go hunting in it. So you could go hunting, but you'd have to like park it on a ridge somewhere and then kind of walk to where you want to go. Where the Ranger, you could get a lot closer to whatever you wanted to hunt, whether it was deer or kangaroos or whatever you're looking to hunt. You could get much closer with the Ranger because it is so quiet. It's such a quiet unit. So that's why now, after owning both, I think that I would probably go with the Ranger, just because I've got that bug out of my system now with jumping the General and carrying on and going fast and all that. It's all out of me. It's done. So which is good, because now I can settle for a unit that is cheaper than what the General is, and it's going to do everything I want to do. So guys, we're going to go for a drive in each unit with the GoPro on. So guys, we'll start off here with the General. So I really like the body styling of the General. Just remember that I do have bigger tyres than standard. It does have a wider track due to the spaces that are in there, just to bring that wheel out wider, because it does have the 3-inch lift. So the 3-inch lift, it's a bracketry that mounts up inside here to actually pull the shocks out further and bring them down. So just a heads up on that. So I've got a full gun rack system in here, guys. This is a cabin. It's not clean because these things get used every single day. So let's jump inside now. So guys, the Polaris General Deluxe comes standard with a winch. This is the light bar that I've added to the front. Got your gauge cluster there, steering wheel, your 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, and then your headlights. That's my mob armor cradle when I mount my phone there. So you can add other switches in here. You can add the heating system as well. Park, reverse, neutral, low and high. Got a full console there, another console there, and then you've got other storage and stuff up here as well. You do have a stereo in the Polaris General Deluxe. You've got a full mirror just there. So I'll show you guys the start it up. A bit dusty, but At least you know you're getting a good review because these things get used. So basically the gauge system just there. So I'm not too sure if you guys can hear. It's not too bad here in the cabin, although I have added a lot of sound deadening inside the cabin just to try and quiet down the noise that's coming from the engine. So this is the kind of the view from the front. It's pretty good. It's a nice uprighted seating position. I do have mirrors on mine as well. I've also added mirrors. Moving around to the back now, I do have the rack on the back. That's an accessory from Polaris. The rear also has the lift kit. QS3 Fox shocks. Does have the spacers, bigger tyres. Do have a tow ball on it. Got the roof, light bar. Now we'll move over to the Ranger 1000. So Ranger 1000 does not come with a winch standard. It's another option. Like we said, we do have the window, but we haven't got it in right now. We did fit the radio. Do have the doors fitted. They're a super heavy door. That's how they mount, just there on the side. So they're easily removed. You can remove them quite easily. You've got a big bed on the back. Put all your stuff in a big tub. Like I said, guys, this is completely standard, this unit, besides from the options from Polaris. So you can just get a bit of a different kind of shot there of the suspension in the General and the suspension in the Ranger. So it's a lot more subtle, but the Ranger rides amazing. They both do. They're both built for a purpose, and the General handles jumps. I've jumped upwards of 30-40 feet in the General over tabletops and things like that. As you can see in my intro, there's a shot of me jumping this thing. So haven't jumped the Ranger before, but it's not really built for that. We're not here to jump the Ranger. It's built for around the farm, carrying stuff, going out the back, checking out things, a bit of hunting, and that's what we bought it for. So go in the cabin now. So the Ranger's doors are suicide also, so they come all the way around, which gives you plenty of access. Got storage there in the pockets. Got a cup holder there. We do have the option sound system. Big bench seat where the General only has 2 cup holders. Again, the stereo. Same gauge system in this as well. Your gear levers up here instead. And then on this one you also have grass mode. So the General doesn't have grass mode. I think the new Generals do, but the 2016 does not have grass mode. So grass mode is the single wheels turning, and then you've got both rear wheels turning, and then you've got 4x4. So go ahead now and start it up, foot on the brake. So I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it is way quieter than what the General is. Got storage here. More storage there. And then the roof has like a carpeted lining, and all your windows are just quick connect, so they all just snap in place. You can pop them out pretty easy, pretty quickly. Got more storage down the bottom down here, but it's just a really nice driving position, guys. You can see really clearly. You can also opt for a mirror that goes up there. So yeah, that's the interior of the Ranger. Ranger is way more reserved in its power, and with just being in control, doing tight trails like this in the Ranger at high speed, I don't feel too comfortable. It's not too bad if you weren't already a General owner. When you do the tight trails like this in the General versus the Ranger, the General is way more, you feel way more in control. You can feel like you can go way faster, and I don't know what it is, but it may just be the width of the General compared to the Ranger and just the overall handling with the suspension and stuff like that. I think the Ranger on the trail stuff is perfect for hunting and things like that because you're not looking to go super fast. But yeah, I just think that if you're going to do high speed trail riding and things like that, the General's probably a better suit than the Ranger, just for the fact the Ranger doesn't feel as in control power wise coming into corners and hitting the gas coming out. The Ranger very much wants to just slide right out, where the Polaris General feels way more in control and precise, and wherever you point it, that's where it's going to go. The Ranger's a bit more tippy and rolly, but it's not bad at all. It's probably the suspension on the Ranger. If you eliminate jumping altogether with both units, the Ranger's suspension compared to the QS3s, just the standard suspension on the Ranger, is probably upwards of 60-70% of what those QS3s can do standard, like on any of these sort of trail conditions. Yeah, I'd happy to say, yeah, 70% of what those QS3s can do, the Ranger can very much do. It's quite composed and feels great. It's just when you start getting high speed coming into some of these tight corners where the General just, it's on a league of its own, and it's next level, and it's very precise where it wants to go, where the Ranger, yeah, just isn't. But if you're just looking for the Ranger for hunting and General around the farm and do a little bit of quick riding and stuff like that and having a bit of fun, yeah, perfect. But if you're gonna ride trails like this all the time, super fast, then the General's probably your pick out of both the units, I'd say. As you guys can see, the Ranger just doesn't make the power like the General does. So the Ranger's very more reserved. It very much builds its power all the way up. It'll get right up to 100 kilometers an hour. But the way the General does it is just bang, instant, rear wheels spinning. It's just hard, shifts fast, shifts hard. Where the Ranger just isn't like that. It's just continuously keeps pulling until it gets up to that 100 kilometers an hour and a little bit over. That's about how fast I've got this thing to go today. So the Ranger is way more reserved, but I just like this general viewing that you have. The dash is a lot lower than the Polaris General, so if you had a gun rack or something up here in the roof, you could simply grab your rifle, pull it down, and with having this window open, you could get straight on target and things like that, where with the General it's a bit harder. You could probably still do it out through the front if the window wasn't on it, but this is a great hunting platform. If you're moving around the property and you quickly see a fox or a dog or something like that, you can quickly get on target just by having such an open area of a cab, and it's so wide and vast, and have all your bits and pieces right beside you. So I very much like this platform specifically for hunting and just general farm use. I would much prefer the Ranger. Alright guys, a bit of a wrap up. So POVs in both of them, driving position, looking back in the cab while we're driving them, bit of suspension footage there, just some general trail riding and a few of the open tracks and stuff, more fire trail stuff. So it really all depends on what you guys want to do with each unit. So you just need to make yourself a bit of a list and work out exactly what you want to do with the unit. If you're going to ride fast, you're going to want to do the odd maybe 3 trips a year hunting in the thing. You want to jump it, fast trail riding with mates and things like that. And if you're going to be like, you know how mates get and they're kind of battling and you got to catch up with each other and racing around and all those good things. So if you're going to go down that route, I'd say the General. If you're going to want to do mostly hunting, a bit of farm work and stuff like that, really use the thing, putting wood in the back, parts, bits and pieces, getting around the farm and all that sort of stuff, trail riding, I'd probably go with the Ranger. Now that I have the General out of my system and I don't need to go that fast anymore, I don't need to jump it, and I honestly think that I would go with the Ranger now between both of them, just because the Ranger is more what I want to do now. So alright guys, well, let me know which one you choose, the Ranger or the General, and why you choose it in the comments below. Thank you to all my subscribers. You guys are legends. If I couldn't do this without you guys, and it means the world to me that you guys are wanting to consume my content and be a part of the channel. So it's friggin' awesome. I think we're at like 519 subscribers now, and it just keeps growing every week. So if you want more of the videos like this, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't already, please consider, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See yous.